Good morning, everyone. I am Edward Fairley, Uncle Fed's nephew. I was actually married into the family, so for those of you who are wondering how I got up here, so am I. I struggled with how I was going to start this because everything that I would come up with, even when hearing it as a thought, I knew that it would cause the listener to be conflicted by my statement. But at the same time, if I don't take the approach, it would rob me of the ability to help you all understand the weight of who he is to me. And I'm not willing to compromise his value just to make people feel comfortable. So here goes. I have been graced with the ability to love and express love to any and everyone, no matter how bad or good they may seem. But there aren't many people that I like. See what I mean? It doesn't sound good, does it? But that was the only way that I could get you all to understand the depth of me saying that I genuinely and authentically like Uncle Dad. Now, there's two things that I need you to understand about what I just said. One is I did say that I like him, not liked him. Because though this is one of the hardest ones I've had to give in a while, this is without a doubt a see you later, not a goodbye. And if you are not sure whether this is a goodbye or a see you later, I will be glad to meet with you after this service to advise you of how to get your eternal salvation passport.
All right, Come on, boy.
The second and last of the two is I did say Uncle Dad. You see, my baby boy, my youngest son, when he was much younger, went through that temporary speech impediment thing where the child has a hard time correcting, pronouncing certain letters or combinations of letters. In this case, his THs were pronounced as Ds. So instead of Uncle Fad, he would say Uncle Dad. Now, I must admit, as my son's father, initially I was a little uncomfortable with my child calling him Uncle Dad, for reasons I hope you all can understand. But after getting over how terrible the name sounded and understanding the context of where it came from, my family and I began to affectionately call him Uncle Dad. We've been doing this for nearly a decade. Speaking of decades, I've known Uncle Dad for more than 2. And I sought and sat right up under him. Every chance and function that I could, I would inconvenience myself to conveniently be around him. It was his wisdom and teaching styles for me. Like, if you would say something, how can I put it? Dumb. If you said something dumb, oh, he was going to tease you about it. You definitely were going to get a verbal mirror of what you did. Those around you were going to laugh, and you were going to feel slightly uncomfortable, which was the point. He knew that that slight discomfort would make sure that you would not miss the lesson in the future. It was masterful and intentional. So much so that most people didn't realize it, but they would instinctively become more careful about what they said and did when they saw that he was in the room. To say it differently, his presence made you better. If teasing wasn't the tool that he used or wanted to use, he'd go into stealth mode with his indirect style of teaching. He'd correct you without directly correcting you. He'd say something like, "You could have saved that breath for an asthma attack." Which meant that he just witnessed you waste your time trying to explain something or yourself to someone else. Then we have the compliment without the compliment. He'd say to me, I'm not messing with you today, Eddie. I didn't bring my scuba gear. This was his way of saying that he felt that I was a deep thinker and that he actually enjoyed how far past the surface of a topic I would go. I say he enjoyed it because even after he'd make the statement, be it in person or on the telephone, right after the statement, we'd spend hours playing our favorite sport, mental tennis. We think back and forth about any and everything. He really took a liking to my approach to parenting and to help me realize that he understood and liked my approach on things that I shared with him about my children. He would share different stories of his own parenting journey to help me understand that he got the point I was attempting to make. One story that sticks out to me the most is that there was a season when Carl and Nick were fighting a lot when they were younger, and Aunt Cheryl came to him concerned and thought to share with him that they were fighting a lot, which led to his response of, good. That means that one of them isn't dominating the other. You see, you might not have liked all of his responses, but you could never ignore the wisdom hidden in them. One of our favorite topics was the Bible. We both love it. You were wasting your time trying to get him to think about or read another book. If you wanted him to get frustrated, call yourself preaching or teaching in the church and it not aligning with what the Bible actually says. Matter of fact, that was the last topic that he and I spoke about before his transition. He shared his struggle with watching people receive teaching that's not biblically sound, while also not feeling comfortable enough to correct the teachers because he was concerned that him challenging them would deter them from pursuing or continuing their calling. This is the kind of man we are honoring today. So in conclusion, though my son may have coined the most inappropriate yet affectionate title names ever given to man, in the name of Uncle Dad, there was prophetically some truth to it. Because though he is my uncle, he had the wisdom, reflexes, and heart of a dad, and I really like him. Thank you.